Guys, welcome back. We have quite a lot to look at in this review. We're going to be looking at a couple of Zvezda kits that I picked up while I've been in Russia because they are such a bargain to get here. Starting for the 172 scale T-14 Armata tank. Then I collected some of these. These are actually 1/100 scale wargaming tanks kits. I've already built two of them. I built the T-34 which is here. There are only a very few parts, and the jumbo Sherman. Now I've still got to build the heavy tank, the German KT King Tiger there, but I'll just show you the parts. Then finally we are going to do a review on this M4A3E8 from Rye Fields Model. Okay, so very quickly, let's just talk about these 1/100 scale kits. This is probably the simplest one, the T-34 The actual instructions are just on the back of the box, and there's only 12 parts. They're very small models. They are not badly detailed though at all. They're quite good. Their purpose is obviously for wargaming. They even have a flag that comes with them in the back to give them like a unit thing. But I thought this would make quite a good painting practice, so that's why I got them. I wanted to sort of see what the quality was like. I particularly like the Sherman. It's quite well made. This is the more a bigger kit. There's only 2 sprues. You can have a look at them. This is how they're composed. You've got the tracks and the running gear all in one part. Unusual sort of, these are snapped together, by the way. There's no glue required at all for them, but I do tend to glue them because I prefer that look. And I'll just show you something inside here. You do get a small instruction book, and I'll just show you how they differ from your usual models, in that if you have a look at this part here, you actually build, there's something like a alignment sort of jig that everything gets centralized around. There's very few parts. You can see it's just a simple process to put together. It takes less than like maybe 30 minutes or so. Even says you can use glue for plastic models for more reliable connection of details, which is true. The only downside on these is you have got all these sort of paint schemes on the box art. There are no decals whatsoever, which is a bit of a pity really, because you want to put on the American stars on there. You would like that Verpered for Berlin on the T-34 but you'll have to hand paint them on. We'll have a go at doing that, but these are very good value. They're very cheap. And there's quite a selection as well, so I just got them as a bit of an experiment. We'll build up that King Tiger to show you. The only other feature is, of course, that the turrets are move, etc. on them. Very small, but the detail's pretty good on these. See what we can do. A little painting exercise, painting weather and exercise. So we'll get the King Tiger built up. Now let's have a look at this T-14 Armata. If you have a look at one of my very early videos, one of the first videos I did was on the Zvezda kit. It was a snap together kit. Just someone to sort of show it. It was only cost like the equivalent of about $7. But this is a more complex one. This is not a snap together kit. There's 151 pieces. T-14 is quite a large battle tank. You can see there's a logo from Ural Vagon Zavod, which is the actual company that manufacture these T-14 Armata. So probably Zvezda had some cooperation, I should imagine, with UVZ to get all the details right in this. You'd like to think so, wouldn't you? On the back of here is a built-up model. That's about all. There is also the other range of kits. I was after the T90. I really wanted the T90. Did see the Terminator as well, but I chose this one today. Let's have a look, see what's inside. Okay, so first things first, inside the box you've got another box, so you've got that double layer protection on this. Quite a nice sort of feature. Proper pages of instructions First time I've seen this with Zvezda, probably because it's one of their newer kits. You actually got the a coloured painting diagram, and there is indication of the colours in probably from, yeah, okay, there's two paint in marks given. One's Zvezda colours, which you will have extreme difficulty find in Europe and USA, but you may do. And then also you got the very familiar Tamiya. So Tamiya gives you can get basically worldwide. So the two schemes are depicted. One is that parade ground example. The other one's a bit more conventional camouflage. Of course, you can use your own imagination a little bit with T-14. Let's have a look at the instruction steps. Quite a lot of detail going on that turret there. Multifaceted. You can see that the suspension on the lower hull is multiple components. Tracks, I'm guessing, are vinyl that wrap around. Okay, we've got the side skirts, more details going on. So 14 pages of instructions. Now let's have a look at the parts. All in one bag. Let's open that and have a look at the details. Start off with the decal sheet, which is the parade ground sort of markings, then a series of numbers, and also some sort of emblem, maybe Guards emblem or whatever. Look, ought to be good. Sprue 1 has a great amount of detail actually on the upper hull there. You can see it's all finely molded in. Those recovery wires look pretty good. The cables there, separate turrets. This is the slat armor here that is actually, you can see that is actually see-through. So again, great amount of detail there. Vinyl tracks respected. It is sort of a, not your usual very flexible vinyl, but a little bit more harder sort of material. Probably have to form it up and force it in position. We'll see how that goes, because I'll probably build this up quite quickly and tell you what I think of it. Two identical sprues of running gear road wheels. Well, again, looks all pretty nice. Here's that big turret. Of course, on T-14 Armata is unmanned turret. You can see that smoke discharges there that sort of are integral into it. Very nice feature. It looks like a one-piece barrel to me there. Yes, it is one-piece barrel. So it all looks pretty nice. I don't see any clear sprues, probably not needed in this scale anyways. And a single-piece bathtub style hull. So that's everything inside there. We'll build that up and I'll tell you what I think about all the fit. That won't take long, so I'll probably crack on with that straight away. Okay guys, I'm just going to do a wrap up on the Zvezda T-14 Armata. Built it in basically maybe about 2 hours, I think. Build time. Everything's completed on the model. No problems at all in construction except for the tracks. Tracks prove to be a little bit difficult. They are flexible sort of vinyl, but once they're subjected to like a degree of bend, they snap off, and that's what I found out. What happened when I tried to wrap it around the sprocket, it just snapped off. But fortunately, because of these big long side skirts, not really much of a problem. So basically, what I have is I've got the track up to basically up to that point there, and then it's all, the rest of it's just missing. I just snipped it off, and then likewise for the idler, just from there to there. They do look good. They're cemented in place against the road wheels as well to make sure that they're nice and firm. High points in this model definitely is this detail inside here, where they've got the interior components where those smoke grenade launchers are, and likewise on the other side as well. So you've got that real 3D effect. That cupola there, the remote machine gun, pretty good detail. The barrel, that needs to be hollowed out with a drill, pin vise sort of drill. The other great points are the slatted bar armour here with the really fine detail that mounts them on the mounting brackets. Really exceptional kit. The light guards as well, they got enough finesse on them. I was really impressed with this kit, really enjoyed it. It was easy to build and the detail level is excellent, really. Looking forward to painting that. And I'm going to put this on the side by side. These are the other builds that I recently did. This is the Flyhawk Abrams M4A3 with all that photo etch and, you know, really smooth detail. The problem I had on this one was, you see the rear turret basket was warped parts, and you know, I didn't have any way I could correct them, so they're warped on the build as well, unfortunately. A really good kit. Detail level is excellent on that. All the photo etch really complements it well. Should paint up nicely, make a nice side by side. And then final kit was where we started from the Model Collect T80. Not bad. Details lesser than the Flyhawk, but not bad. Not a bad kit at all. If I was to put these all side by side, really, in terms of, my favourite is the Armata because it was, price point of view, like really cheap but amazingly good detail and constructability. Second place goes to the Flyhawk Abrams, just because it's a stunning kit in 72 scale with all that detail. Third place is Model Collect T80. They're okay. I think they just got some sort of weak points really to them. Construction of the tracks is pretty poor, but otherwise than that, I do like the photo etch that goes onto it. The metal barrel's quite a nice complementary touch as well. Do all build up nicely. Let's see how they all paint up eventually. Final kit we're looking at today is 1/35 scale Rye Fields Models M4A3E8 Sherman. Didn't think I was going to buy this kit until I saw another review of it, and I was very impressed with it. Rye Fields Model. I used to stock these when I had the shop, but I never built one. And there were quite a few features that I'll home in on. I think they sort of pointed out there, you can sort of see this is the sort of stuff that attracted me. It had all the casting marks and all the bits and pieces. It didn't really tell you that much. I bought this in Russia when I've been here. 3,290 rubles. Most famous markings ever, this paper doll one. Okay, let's crack open the box and see what's inside. This is the inside of the box. I'll start off with the instructions. Booklet type, in colour, sprue layout. Let's count the sprues. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 of them. Yeah, about 10 sprues, one transparent sprue, and then a lower hull, and it says upper hull, it's not, of course, it's the turret. One photo etch sprue, the decals. Gives you a few options right from the start. That is the hatch for emptying out shells, or actually I think you can also use, I think they may have used it for loading. A few things are coloured out in colour. I think these are options whenever you've got this symbol, so it's giving you options there for either two radio antennae or a blanking cap on there. Pretty standard. You're starting off with the turret. 50 caliber machine gun is multi-component, could be quite good. Telling you to do a bit of drilling out there. We've got a different colour. We've got this blue here for, oh, this is the sponsor and insert, so you haven't got the see-through effect from underneath. No interior detail. A lot of people were expecting interior detail on Shermans to be released last year and this year, but that did not happen. photo etch frame. That is the horn, I think, that one. Yeah, you got lights, and this one covers up the horn. Can be a bit tricky. I wonder if there's any plastic alternatives. Perhaps not. Let's see if they got this right. Yeah, they have got the handles on there. This is the difference between kits. Everybody raves on about Tamiya. Try and find grab handles on the Tamiya Sherman. They never have them on. The only ones that they did was the Tasca Suka ones that they reboxed. Pretty good there. Some options there on the I think is that the, look like ranging pulls. Yeah, I think they're ranging pulls on there or something. Gun barrel cleaning rods, that's what they are. Right. Then we go on to assembling the lower hull. Lower hull is traditional style construction of plates. I wonder if they've got any reinforcements in there. We'll check how that all goes together there. There's the transmission as one piece. All looks pretty good. Easy 8 suspension. Individual links made out of many parts. Yeah, so you've got pads, you've got the links themselves, you've got 2 sets of pads, you've got a form tool. It'll take a while, but I tell you what, it's worth it usually in the end. Believe me, that's what my opinion is on that. The muzzle brake looks pretty awesome on this actually. See if it comes out in fine detail, but I've probably got a metal replacement for that. Good layout of the tow cable there, showing you how that goes on, and also it has got the actual attachments that's often missing on these kits. That comes to the final assembly part. It's got a turret ring in there for some reason. There's nothing really on the interior that I noticed. I think the hatches had interior detail. You've got some bonus parts here, like the tripod for the 50 cal, or 30 cal rather, that you can set up, but why even bother, to be honest? So that's that. Also, we have this the most popular paint schemes. Okay, we've got the paint colours called out in conjunction with Mig Jimenez, so I probably got most of those colours, to be honest. I think they did a special set, and there's actually even some weathering steps as well. It doesn't tell you, it just says the products to use. It doesn't tell you how to use them. That's what I can show you on this channel. Has it got a unit description? Yeah, 12th Armour Division, Germany, 1945. Very late war, of course, these Easy 8s. And then this famous paper doll one, also Germany, 1945. Similar call-outs and weather instructions. Still looks really good. If one thing I could ask for from manufacturers, it would be the trailer that went with these very late war Shermans. You'll see them when they're doing the road marches. They actually have a trailer attached to them. Not a tracked one, like a wheeled trailer, but that doesn't happen. But you can see this is going to be the most popular one, these big white markings, etc. Okay, I'll open up these bags and we'll have a look at the sprues. Okay, let's start with the obvious stuff first. You got 4 sets of this sprue, which is the tracks, made up of multiple components. And also to note is the track forming jig right there. Parts look great. If anything, they're really nice and clean and beautiful, whereas I'm definitely going to distress them. Notable point here is the hollow guide horn here. That's pretty damn important actually, to get right on that. So they've got that. It's going to be a bit of work, just a bit of tedium really to do that. Another sprue that we have 2 off of is sprue A, which is running gear. You can see all very nice fine detail on those road wheels. Looks really promising. The drive sprockets again, really nice, tight, sharp detail. The 30 caliber looks pretty good in the ball mount there. And I think we've got some of the other components. Yeah, nothing to complain with there. Flash free, etc. Blah blah blah. This is the lower hull, made out of all these multiple components. And this is here we go. This is one of the one of the reasons why I bought this. If you have a look at this cast transmission cover here, you've actually got molded on detail for the cast marks, etc., and that is throughout here. If we start looking, as I sort of find them, I'll call them out to you. There you go. On the hatches, you can see again they've got the casting foundry marks on them, which is looks, it's going to look really good. I'm really impressed with the detail on that. Already had a look at that sprue. That's just a duplicate. Part of the hull here, the turret rather, there's the mantlet. Mantlet again has nice fine texture to depict a cast mantlet, and again it's got the foundry marks on it again. The cupola with all that is looks really good as well. That should have some caster marks on it as well, and as you can see it is hollowed out, so that's got the transparent optics, which is what you would expect in 35th scale. Let's have a look, more details there. There's the other hatch there. It's got those springs. They may or may not be replaced with some springs of, I'm not too sure. Excellent work here. Look at this muzzle brake. That is one-piece muzzle brake, which is great to see, because how many times you got a one-piece barrel, but if you've got a split muzzle brake, you've still got a seam line to deal with. That's pretty good. The lower part of the turret looks pretty good. It's also got that molded on texture, and we'll just have a look at the turret now. Again, really nice texture on there, just a bit rough. Again, the caster marks on there that are, really grabbed my attention. That's why I wanted to get this. Might seem a bit sort of silly stuff like this, but I like to see it that somebody went to that extra level. Okay, here's an alternative mantlet. I'm not too sure why. There might be two versions. Let's go double check the instructions. This is a fabric cover for the 76mm that sort of goes, well, you can actually see it on here. It surrounds the mantlet, like the weatherproofing for it. That is pretty good. Again, you're going to need to do a lot. You have to get your tidy up perfect on that when it comes to construction, but not bad. Not a bad rendition of fabric. In plastic. And this is a detail sprue. Very much reminds me of Asuka Tasca, where they had the separate sprue for the 50 caliber, which was that 50 caliber was the best one you could get in 35th scale. And this one, it looks pretty damn good. You can see we've got the handle on there for the barrel change. You've also got some crew weaponry, which is M3 grease guns. There's that 30 caliber tripod mount. Some jerry cans for your stowage, 50 cal and 30 cal ammo canisters, etc. And then there's all the Pioneer tools. Have to have a look at that. They probably will need extra detailing to get right. Final component we'll look at is the one-piece upper hull. Again, those really nice caster marks. Weld detail on here is really good as well. They've got all the welds on. I hope they're accurate. I would expect them to be. Right here there should be, if you're a real stickler, there should be actually a drain hole right there where that fuel cover is, because this is a bullet splash guard to protect the inlet, and then they also, because it's a rain catchment point, they have got a weep hole there, a drainage hole. But I mean, God, in this scale you barely see it. I like that. I like the texture. This is meant to be rolled plate. It does look a bit like rolled plate. Most importantly, they've got this here, they've got that weld there where the front glacis is, so you can see the thickness, the effective thickness of the armour. Looks pretty good. Any drawbacks on this kit? Of course there is. There's also going to be a drawback. And quickly mention decals. Decals look good, blah, blah, blah. This sort of thing, this sort of spoils it, yeah? You have got a piece of photo etch there. This is the photo etch parts, etc., for those light guards, the brush guards, etc., and some other parts that we'll have to check for in the instructions. But you got a piece of string for the recovery cable. I mean, why couldn't you put in a piece of wire? You've gone so well on this kit, push in some brass wire in there, because string doesn't cut it nowadays. It goes fuzzy, it just doesn't work as well. But overall, what an awesome looking kit. Really looking forward to building that up, seeing how it all fits together, etc. And let's crack on. Probably the last thing I'll mention is also I did get some of this clay, which is Russian for glue. I got this cement to try out as well, probably use that during the build.